Hello. Today we will talk about chess tactics, but before getting to it, you should know that every game consists of chess tactics and chess strategy. Chess strategy is when you evaluate a position, give it a certain analysis, and look for the strongest move in a particular position. And chess tactics are a technique that every strong chess player should have to make a bad position roughly equal or to win some material in a better position. As the fifth world chess champion, Dutchman Max Euwe, wrote, "Strategy is abstract. Tactics are concrete." Beginners should only focus on tactics because when you engage in tactics, you train important qualities for a chess player, such as intuition and calculation of variations. So, let's talk about chess tactics. You should know that tactics have many different subtypes. That is, it can be a pin, it can be a double attack, and so on. And today, we will talk about the double attack. So, we can see that in this position, Black has a material advantage. Why? In previous lessons, we studied that each piece has its own value. In this position, Black has 2 rooks, and a rook is worth 5 pawns. So 2 rooks equal 10, plus 3 pawns, making a total of 13 pawns. White has a rook worth 5 pawns and a knight, which is worth 3 pawns. So together, that is 8, plus 3 more pawns on the board, totaling 11. So the material advantage is on Black's side. But now, with the correct move, White can equalize the material. How to do that? Their knight moves to the d5 square, using the so-called fork, a double attack. Look here, the knight makes a fork, attacking one rook and the other rook at the same time. And we see that in this position, whichever rook moves away, we can still capture the other rook. For example, if a rook moves to a7, one rook was protected, but the other rook remains under attack. 2 rooks cannot move in one turn. Therefore, we can easily capture this rook with our knight.
The rook hits our knight, and now it turns out that we have an equal material advantage. That is, the board is even. Why? Because rook versus rook and 3 pawns versus 3 pawns. That is, you see, with such a tactical strike, like a double attack, we were able to, from a bad position, because we were materially disadvantaged and the black side had a better position, equalize material on the board with our knight after the move d5. That is, any rook has to move. If it moves, we will capture the next one. They might even move a different rook, for example, to the square h7. Then we just knock this rook off with the knight. The rook captures ours, and on the board it results in material equality. Another important point, why do the rooks have to move specifically along the 7th rank? Because, for example, if a rook moves to e8, then we capture the rook on c7 with the knight. And it turns out that the white side also already has a material advantage, because they have a knight and a rook on the board from the light and heavy pieces, while Black has only 1 rook.
And Black has only 1 rook. So today, we will talk with you about the double attack. I repeat once again, and how to use it correctly. Let's look at another situation. In this position, it is Black's move. As you can see, the bishop attacked the rook. Since the bishop moves diagonally, it attacked the rook. Consequently, Black captures the rook, and they think that they have already won in this position. But after the precise move by White, namely kb1, the king also performs what is called a double attack. Why? Because the king attacked both the knight and the bishop. Accordingly, if the bishop moves to some position, we capture the knight with the king. However, if the knight moves somewhere, we capture the bishop with the king. And you should remember, just to mention in advance, that if there is only a king and a knight left on the board, as in this position, checkmate cannot be delivered to the king. We have talked about this with you, and I decided to remind you. Moving on to the next position. Here you can notice that Black's rook attacked the bishop.
But if White finds a strong move, they can win this game. How exactly should this be done? Look, if the bishop simply moves to the square h2, then accordingly, White will not win anything. Our king will move, for example, to the square e7, and Black has a material advantage because they still have 2 rooks, together worth 10 pawns, and we have a rook and a bishop, together worth 8 pawns. But with an accurate move for White, namely the bishop captures on c6, we set a so-called double attack. Why? The bishop attacks the king, giving check, and the bishop attacks the rook. Accordingly, when giving a check to the king, you should first of all think about the safety of your own king. That is, protect your king. The king can move, and on the next move we can capture the rook with the bishop, And in this position, we see that we have an extra bishop, which is enough to realize the advantage and eventually win the game. You should also understand that every chess player should perform so-called tactical tasks. Today, we talked with you about the double attack, but many of you do not understand. Well, for example, I set up a position, showed what a double attack is, but how to use it in a game. Now I will show you a clear game that took place between two chess players, and we will see how to make the so-called double attack here. So the game started with the following moves. The pawn moves to e4. Black responds with e5. The knight goes to f3. The knight to c6. The bishop moves to c4. Black responds with the knight to b6. Now it's white's turn, and white places their knight on g5. And in this way, they create the first threat. That is, as you can see, the bishop attacks the pawn on f7, and the knight attacks the pawn on f7. It is only defended by the king, but it cannot hit the king because the knight and bishop will protect that square. So if black doesn't figure out why the knight moved to g5 and decides to chase this knight away, that is, attacks it with their pawn.
And did you know that a pawn is worth 1 pawn and a knight is worth 3 pawns? That is, you cannot trade your knight for a pawn. But then white performs what is called a double attack. The knight captures the pawn on f7. As you can see, the king cannot capture the knight right now because our bishop is protecting it. Accordingly, the attack does not occur here. But why is this a double attack? Because the knight is performing what is called a fork. Namely, the knight attacks the queen, the strongest piece in chess, and at the same time also attacks the rook. Of course, in this position, you need to protect the queen. That is, the strongest piece in chess. The queen retreats to e7. And after that, with our knight, we simply capture the rook. And now we have a material advantage for sure. You should know that if you learn to solve tactical problems well, you will have a well-developed combinational vision. In a game, you will play much stronger than your opponents and will be able to score significantly more points in a tournament.
And accordingly, your skill in chess will increase significantly. So, today we talked and got acquainted with tactics, namely with one tactical technique, the double attack. In the next lessons, we will go over the following tactical techniques. If you can master all of these techniques and be able to use them in your games, I guarantee you that your results will be quite good. So, thank you all for your attention.